Part 43. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 421. Suliang said calmly, I am an animal, I am not as good as an animal. Please leave me alone for a while. Don't ask who Jingjing is, because I don't know either. Listening to Suliang's words in the room, Qin Wanyu smiled awkwardly, opened the door, and got in. Standing in front of Suliang, Qin Wanyu smiled awkwardly, Husband, are you still angry? Although she agreed with her sisters because of her own calculations, it was also true that she made her husband unhappy. Therefore, you must compensate your husband well. Yes, you must compensate your husband well. How can I be angry? Suliang shook his head helplessly. He just felt a little embarrassed. To be honest, he didn't even know what Mu Qingqian told the Holy Sun to make him so angry and make such a fuss. Is it okay to just turn yourself into a beast? Husband, don't worry too much. Qin Wanyu sat directly next to Suliang, hugged Suliang's arm, and put her little head against it. It doesn't matter that the sisters don't believe in my husband, but I actually believe in my husband. My husband said he didn't do anything, so I believe that my husband really didn't do anything. Okay, you don't have to comfort me, I'm really fine. Suliang patted Qin Wanyu's little head, shook his head helplessly and said. He naturally understands his girlfriends, and knows that his ladies also understand him, so he believes that he did not do it. Moreover, she is her own wife. Even if she really misunderstood her, what can she do? She can only pamper her. Humph, look at me. My husband says he believes it, but in fact he doesn't believe it. He can't let it go. Qin Wanyu snorted twice, but became even gentler. She sat in front of Suliang, held up Suliang's head, with a gentle smile on her face. Okay, husband, be good, be happy, I trust my husband the most. Qin Wanyu smiled and said that she suddenly came up and hugged Suliang's head. Then he pressed Suliang's head on top of his proud peak. Moment. Suliang only felt a kind of extraordinary softness and elasticity. There were soft stones growing on the peaks, scratching his cheeks, and full of milky fragrance, which was refreshing. Is it okay to just use facial cleanser to comfort me? Suliang was stunned for a moment, but still moved subconsciously. Well. Qin Wanyu hummed softly and gently stroked Suliang's head, as long as my husband is happy, I can do anything to you. After hearing this, Suliang used great perseverance to finally raise his head, hold Qin Wanyu in his arms, and said with a smile, okay, I'm fine. Really? Qin Wanyu blinked her beautiful eyes, so, would you, husband, be willing to listen to me playing the piano? Okay. Suliang nodded and agreed. Immediately, he saw Qin Wanyu happily taking off her shoes, getting on the bed, sitting on her side with her legs together. Come on, husband, lie down quickly. Qin Wanyu patted her plump black stocking legs and said happily. Suliang lay down in confusion. It wasn't until the plump, soft, yet smooth and tight touch felt under his head that he came back to his senses and asked doubtfully, how can you play the piano when I'm lying on you this time? As for playing the harp, you can be more flexible. The harp in your heart is the harp. Now, for me, the harp is nearby. After saying that, Qin Wanyu touched her with her jade hand. Of course, in the end, I really played the piano. After helping Suliang calm down, Qin Wanyu walked out of Suliang's room with some aftertaste, but what greeted her was the green eyes of the girls. Isn't it too unreasonable of you to do this? Yang Kaoj looked at Qin Wanyu with unkind eyes. Old woman, line up, do you know that we are queuing up? We have already discussed the order of comforting Lang Jun, so what's going on if you sneak away first? Ah, do you still have a conscience? These words made all the girls nod seriously. Volume 1 Hashtag Chapter 401 Is this clothes for people to wear? Hearing this, Qin Wanyu smiled slightly and said, "You didn't come to see me, so why is it my fault again? Besides, when it comes to comforting your husband, the first person is the most effective. Why do I have to wait for you?" While talking, Qin Wanyu kept smiling in her heart. How could she not guess what the sisters in the family were thinking? Normally, I would not even say a harsh word to my husband, so how could I suddenly turn my back on him? Isn't it that everyone has evil intentions and all have the same plan, intending to hit the husband first, and then comfort him, gain favor with his driving skills, and take a further step in the husband's heart? I just felt sorry for the Holy Son and thought that all the girls of the Su family understood the righteousness and supported her. But in fact, she was completely taken advantage of by the girls and completely used. But the miserable Holy Son who had been taken advantage of was now facing an even more miserable situation. Mu Qingqian stood in front of the Holy Son with a very serious expression. "Holy Son, look at what you have done. How can you be so abrupt?" She really didn't expect that her nonsense to cover up her embarrassing behavior would actually cause the Holy Son to get into trouble with senior brother Su. Moreover, senior brother Su was even made to face accusations from his sisters at home. Obviously nothing happened between me and senior brother Su. At this moment, Mu Qingqian was full of guilt for Su Liang. "But, I am also doing it for your own good," the Holy Son said, a little confused. "I don't need you to do this for my own good," Mu Qingqian said without mercy. "Everything between me and senior brother Su is all of my own free will. I like senior brother Su and want to overthrow senior brother Su. It has nothing to do with senior brother Su. It's all my wish. So, please don't interfere at will and let senior brother Su be misunderstood again. In this case, I will hate you." After saying that, Mu Qingqian turned around and left, leaving the Holy Son alone, flustered and almost crying. "Did you really do something wrong? However, I really do it for Qingqian's sake." After leaving the Holy Son, Mu Qingqian hurried to Su Liang and wanted to apologize to Su Liang. After all, the cause of this incident was always his pretentious words to cover up his ignorant behavior. Mu Qingqian didn't want Su Liang to be unhappy because of her. Naturally, he didn't want Su Liang to hate himself because of this. But just halfway through, Mu Qingqian was stopped by Tao Yaoyao. "What are you going to do?" Tao Yaoyao had a faint smile on her face. "Are you looking for brother Su Liang? What does it have to do with you?" Mu Qingqian looked calm, but felt that she really didn't want to talk to Tao Yaoyao. If she could hide something from Tao Yaoyao before, now, with the Holy Son's abruptness, everything has been exposed. It's over. Let Tao Yaoyao know that she is just faking. "What should I do? This is embarrassing." "Okay. Let me guess." Tao Yaoyao still had a faint smile. "I guess you want to apologize to brother Su Liang. Is it because the lies you told to cover up the fact that you didn't understand anything actually made brother Su Liang feel wronged? Are you going to apologize?" At this point, Tao Yaoyao was laughing so hard that she couldn't even stand up straight. What on earth was Mu Qingqian thinking? She missed such a good opportunity without doing anything? If it were me, I'd probably have to discuss the future of my child with brother Su Liang now. Okay. Mu Qingqian is so embarrassed. Seeing this, Mu Qingqian's face sank. Get out of the way. After that, he would bypass Tao Yaoyao and go straight to find Su Liang. However, Tao Yaoyao stood in front of Mu Qingqian again, looked at Mu Qingqian up and down, and said disdainfully, "Mu Qingqian, what do you call this, an apology? An apology? Is there such an insincere apology like yours?" Hearing this, Mu Qingqian hesitated for a moment, then stopped and said calmly, "Oh, then tell me, what should an apology be? When you apologize, you have to look like you're apologizing. Come with me." I've prepared the clothes you need to wear to apologize. With that said, Tao Yaoyao directly pulled Mu Qingqian into her room, then took out a snow-white gauze dress and handed it to Mu Qingqian. Here, put it on quickly, this kind of clothes is the most suitable, apologize. He took the clothes and rubbed them in his hands. The gauze clothes were light, soft, and silky, and felt very good. Then, Mu Qingqian opened the gauze garment and took a look, but then her pretty face turned red. This gauze was white and pure, seemingly holy, but it was also very transparent. When she put the gauze in front of her eyes, she could see Tao Yaoyao opposite. If you put it on yourself, wouldn't it cover nothing? This contradictory feeling full of charm and holiness instantly made Mu Qingqian feel embarrassed. Is this for people to wear? It seems that your sincerity is not enough. Tao Yaoyao said with a smile, since you are apologizing to Brother Suliang, you should naturally let Brother Suliang see your sincerity. What else is the most sincere thing about a girl's beautiful things? Since you don't want to wear it, then I will wear it. After saying that, Tao Yaoyao immediately took out a dark black gauze skirt, put it on her body, and ran out. Mu Qingqian, since you don't want to, let me comfort my elder brother. Anyway, the nonsense you said to the Holy Son was all told to you by me. After careful calculation, I am also responsible for this matter. I have an obligation to comfort my elder brother. You, don't run, stop, senior brother Suliang is mine. Mu Qingqian immediately realized that this witch actually wanted to steal senior brother Suliang from me. How could she possibly succeed? Then, Mu Qingqian immediately put on her snow-white gauze clothes and chased after him. Then, after a while, two people broke into Suliang's room. Tao Yaoyao took the lead, followed closely by Mu Qingqian. The two women stood in front of Suliang, not to be outdone, and said, Senior Brother Su, Brother Suliang, I'm here to apologize to you. After saying that, the two women looked at each other, and a smell of gunpowder spread between them. Which, I was here first, you get out. Why don't you get out? Brother Suliang obviously likes me more. It was only then that Suliang came back to his senses and saw the two people in front of him clearly. I saw. The faces of the two women in front of him are very similar, but one is black and the other is white. They are both wearing light gauze clothes. The gauze clothes are so thin that they barely cover them. The rocky peaks, the quiet valleys, and even the jade-like bodies are all clearly exposed. Chew. The snow-white gauze has a feeling of holiness and purity, but it also has the charm of the gauze. The black is dignified and elegant, and equally charming. Coupled with the two people's almost identical faces and figures, the black and white in front of Suliang was simply the ultimate temptation. Volume 1 # Chapter 402 Good sisters should come together if something happens to them. If Suliang hadn't had an ambition far beyond that of ordinary people, I might not have been able to withstand it at this moment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 422. You too. Suliang said hesitantly, but at this moment, the two women, who were already competing fiercely, could not hear Suliang's voice at all. Seeing that there was no way to scold Mu Qingqian away, Tao Yaoyao simply sat in front of Suliang and took Suliang's arms into her arms. Moment. Suliang felt that his arm fell into a softness. What a paradise this is. That's great, right? Immediately afterwards, Tao Yaoyao came close to Suliang's ear, exhaled like a blue breath, and said softly, Brother Suliang, let me tell you, this Mu Qingqian is inferior. In fact, she doesn't understand anything at all. I told Mu Qingqian what the Holy Son said before, but she told the Holy Son exactly as they were. If she didn't understand anything, how could this be possible? As she spoke, Tao Yaoyao looked at Mu Qingqian provocatively, and revealed the truth directly with her sharp analysis. So, Mu Qingqian is just a stupid fool. You who don't understand anything really know how to eat the meaning of. If you knew, you wouldn't repeat my words to the Holy Sun exactly. I was stupid at the time and didn't see through your cover. Instead, you became proud. Tao Yao Yao, you, please shut up. Mu Qing said with a slight blush. He was exposed directly by Tao Yao Yao and publicly executed in front of senior brother Su. I didn't understand anything before. It was embarrassing enough just to sleep with senior brother Su for one night, but now it was directly exposed to the public. This is simply embarrassing, isn't it? Okay, you Tao Yao Yao, you are so cruel. Anyway, since you are unkind, don't blame me for being unjust. Do you really think that I can't do anything to you? Anyway, we are all going to die, so let's do it together. Mu Qingqian looked at Tao Yao Yao with an expressionless face, and actually started to explode. Well, indeed, I did nothing. I pushed senior brother Su to the back, but I didn't know what to do, so, and fell asleep directly. Hearing this, Tao Yao Yao blinked in confusion. She suddenly realized that she couldn't understand what Mu Qingqian was going to do. Isn't this right? What happened to Mu Qingqian? Why did he suddenly start to explode? Was she stimulated by herself? No, no, how could Mu Qingqian be so fragile? That is, does this violent woman have any conspiracy? After blinking, Tao Yao Yao still looked confused. Even Suliang was a little confused and quickly comforted him. Ahem, this just shows how pure and pure Qingqian is, right? Thank you, senior brother Su. Mu Qingqian smiled sweetly, but looked directly at Tao Yao Yao, and immediately pulled Tao Yao Yao up. But, now, I already know everything, but Yao Yao, you have so much theoretical knowledge. It's rich, but you must have never tried it, right? Come on, let me show you how mature I, Mu Qingqian, am. Humph, today my sister will teach you what is the correct way to push someone down. Say it. Mu Qingqian pushed Suliang directly onto the bed. Seeing this, Tao Yao Yao felt a little panicked. Looking at things like this, why did she feel like something was going to happen today? To be honest, Tao Yao Yao was indeed looking forward to doing this and that with Suliang, but she wasn't ready yet. However, in front of Mu Qingqian, not being prepared could not be an excuse. Just come, who is afraid of whom? I'm afraid you have forgotten that your theoretical knowledge was taught to you by me. Okay, who's afraid of whom? Tao Yao Yao snorted, and then she took action in the same way and started to tear Suliang's clothes. Suliang quickly protected his purity and was speechless. Hey, 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 you two are acting like this. Have you ever asked me for my opinion? You are attacking me after all. Can you respect me? However, Suliang's words were ignored by the two women. Senior brother Su, just stay here and stay. Anyway, senior brother Su won't suffer any loss. Mu Qingqian said calmly. That's right. It's rare for me to agree with what this violent woman says. It's better to take brother Suliang's words seriously. Yao Yao will definitely serve brother Suliang well later. Hearing this, Suliang was helpless. Hey, 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 what on earth do you think I am? It's me you're touching, shouldn't I be allowed to resist? Okay, okay, if it's not allowed, then it's not allowed. I can only hug my poor self and shrink into a ball. On the other side, although Suliang's words were ignored by the two women, they did interrupt their rhythm. As a result, Mu Qingqian and Tao Yao Yao both stopped and started quarreling with each other. As a result, a vast Shura field unfolded here. And at the center of this Shura field, there are actually two people who have never succeeded, showing off their right to take the lead. Huh, I've seen Brother Suliang's body. Brother Suliang has such a great figure. Humph, it's nothing, I've also practiced dual cultivation with senior brother Su. Well, it is indeed a dual cultivation, but the skills are very orthodox, and there is no close contact at all. Of course, Mu Qingqian will not say anything about this kind of thing. And just when the two were quarreling with each other, they both pulled on Suliang without saying a word. Less than a moment. Stab it? Suliang's shirt was in tatters and completely torn apart. You two have gone too far. Suliang hugged his shoulders and shivered. You two are just arguing. What are you doing to me? You are tearing my clothes off. Are you two perverts? After hearing this, the two women looked a little unnatural. Thinking about it carefully, it seems, indeed, a bit too much. But what can I do? That's senior brother Su, brother Suliang, so I can't help it at all, okay. After a moment of silence, Tao Yaoyao sat next to Suliang again, taking the initiative to provoke and attack boldly. Vaguely, Suliang seemed to be able to smell that he was already full of milk fragrance. Humph, Mu Qingqian, this is called charm, don't you understand? Tao Yaoyao gave Mu Qingqian a provocative look, and her movements became even more intense. What does this mean? Who doesn't know how to post it? Mu Qingqian sneered at this, and then sat down gracefully, leaning against Suliang's body like a peach. Moment. Two kinds of softness that seemed to be the same but had different styles occupied Suliang's entire upper body. This feeling. It's almost overwhelming, isn't it? As the two of them continued to compete, Tao Yaoyao and Mu Qingqian's actions became more and more excessive. At this time, Suliang finally couldn't stand it anymore and reminded, I say, that's about it? You two have gone too far. However, his words were simply ignored. Not only did it not make the two women restrain themselves, but it actually made them go overboard even more. Seeing it, the two of them were already going to suffer on their own. This time, Suliang finally couldn't bear it anymore. Snapped. There were two crisp sounds in succession, and the one who came quickly grabbed the two of them in his hands. You came here just to be a curious baby, can't you study? Okay, since you two are eager to learn, I will help you. There was no way. Suliang was aroused at this time and felt very angry. There was nothing I could do about it. Mu Qingqian and Tao Yaoyao had almost the same face and figure, like twins, but at this moment, one was black and the other was white, wearing gauze clothes, hugging themselves and moving around in various ways. Who can withstand this feeling? Suliang said that he could, but it was not necessary. Today, Suliang plans to show these two girls that there is a limit to human patience. Again, you can be patient, but it's not necessary. Do you know that you yourself have to bear the death that you have caused? And, looking at the confused faces of the two women in front of him, Suliang's mind flashed with scenes from his past life. After the lazy junior fellow soldier replaced his senior sister in his previous life and ascended, his Dao soul and demon soul immediately fell out, broke apart on the spot, and reincarnated. This can already be said to be turning against each other. Simply, I am here to help the two women resolve their conflicts. The two women are originally one body. Although they are two independent individuals in this life, are there any conflicts between themselves and themselves that cannot be resolved? And what method can be used to resolve the centuries-old conflicts and grievances between the two women? Suliang said that good sisters will be fine as soon as they get quilted, and there is nothing difficult about it. Then, an inexplicable smile immediately appeared on Suliang's face. Hey, two little girls, you have to be responsible for what you do. I want to run now, but it's a bit late. The two of them trembled involuntarily, and their eyes became completely hazy. It was only then that Tao Yaoyao finally noticed that something was wrong with the atmosphere. It seems like you have really gone too far? I don't know why, but I am looking forward to this moment very much. Even I and Tao Yaoyao have been fighting for so long just for this moment. But when things came to an end, she became a little timid. Although the other party is Brother Suliang and I am very happy, I am still very worried. Is there anything I can do? Will it hurt? Is Brother Suliang just playing with me? No, no, Brother Suliang is definitely not such a person. But, I'm still panicking. Otherwise, why don't I just start running away? Well, good idea. Nodding secretly in her heart, Tao Yaoyao laughed twice. Brother Suliang, I'm leaving first. You and Mu Qingqian must have fun. While talking, Tao Yaoyao stood up decisively and wanted to leave the room. But she didn't expect that before she even walked out, she would be hugged by Mu Qingqian. Where do you want to go? Mu Qingqian giggled and gently bit Tao Yaoyao's earlobe. In an instant, Tao Yaoyao's body stiffened. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 423. Mu Qingqian, let me go. Tao Yaoyao hurriedly wanted to struggle away, but she never thought that Mu Qingqian hugged her a little tighter, looking a little bit black. Sister Yaoyao, you are the one who wants to change into gauze together to admit your mistake. It was you who took the initiative to seduce senior brother Su. Now that senior brother Su has become serious, you are about to run away. What good things do you want? Do you think you can run away now? I think, it should be fine. Tao Yaoyao said a little uneasily. After listening to Mu Qingqian's words, and now thinking about it carefully, it seems that the current situation is indeed her fault. But, I didn't mean it. I really like Brother Suliang and want to be with Brother Suliang to some extent. Who would have thought that in the end, I would become discouraged? Tao Yaoyao felt very innocent. Heh, that's a good idea. Mu Qingqian chuckled, suddenly pulled Tao Yaoyao back, and threw Tao Yaoyao into Suliang's arms. Immediately, Mu Qingqian leaned forward and said softly, Tao Yaoyao, I want to see how charming you can be. No, don't. Tao Yaoyao trembled, feeling very flustered. Sister, don't, I know it's wrong, just let me go. But unfortunately, her begging for mercy and panic now are of no use. She was now in Suliang's arms. It was Suliang's problem whether to let her go or not. Mu Qingqian had no say at all. Yaoyao, don't worry, I will be very gentle. At this time, Suliang chuckled and approached Tao Yaoyao, biting her earlobe gently. Well. Tao Yaoyao snorted softly, and her eyes immediately became hazy. Immediately. It is the flower blooming on the other side and in-depth communication. This scene instantly woke up Mu Qingqian, who was in a dark state. Mu Qingqian backed away slightly and swallowed hard, feeling a little panicked. Is this the correct way to eat people? Hiss. It seems different from what I imagined. Look at this girl Tao Yaoyao crying, shouldn't she feel uncomfortable? Otherwise, why don't you just run away? Well, while senior brother Su is tasting the enchantress, I'd better take the opportunity to run away quickly, otherwise, it will be too late. As soon as she thought of this, Mu Qingqian immediately stood up and wanted to leave, but then she found with a downcast face that her legs were weak. You can't run away at all. But at this time, Tao Yaoyao, whose consciousness was erratic, discovered Mu Qingqian's attempt to escape. Huh, leave me here and you want to run away? How could it be possible? Feeling fierce in her heart, Tao Yaoyao immediately grabbed Mu Qingqian's ankle and dragged Mu Qingqian back with a little force. Mu Qingqian, don't run away either. Tao Yaoyao said intermittently. I can't suffer the disaster alone, right? If we want to suffer disaster, we must suffer it all at once. In response, Suliang said that you forced me to do this. From the beginning, I never planned to get to this point. But since it's now, there's no need to hesitate. Then, Suliang picked up Mu Qingqian, but threw her directly onto Tao Yaoyao. Not long after, in the room, the two women hummed with almost the same voice, but different feelings. At the same time, Tan family. Suliang was playing happily with his twin sisters in Shengjing, but Tan Kinja at Tan's house was burning the midnight oil to look for clues to the Fuxi abyss. Ha! Tan opened her mouth slightly and yawned slightly. Tan Kinja squinted her eyes, propped her head on her arms, and looked at the book in front of her. On the first day of the month, double cannons will be fired at the door to count the votes. Volume 1 Chapter 403, Extreme Joy Gives Birth to Sorrow, Dao Ao Yao Yao, who gets cowardly faster than anyone else. Her intellectual, lazy, and charming posture are vividly displayed on her body. And just then, Tan Kinja was surprised and immediately woke up. She quickly turned the book to the previous pages and read it carefully. Just now, Tan Kinja seemed to see the words Fuxi Abyss. After a while, after reading through the contents of these pages, Tan Kinja found several other books based on the above descriptions and read them carefully. Immediately, a smile appeared on Tan Kinja's face. After so many days of searching, she finally found a lot of clues from these ancient books. With these clues, it is still unclear whether they can directly find the Fuxi Abyss, but at least they already have the direction to search. In this case, you'd better go home as soon as possible. When the time comes, give Liang a big surprise. Thinking in her mind, Tan Kinja immediately went back to the room to prepare. After not seeing Lang Jun for so many days, Tan Kinja really missed him very much. I can't wait to go back. As for the mother? Oops, it's not like I won't come back in the future, so I'd better go find Lang Jun quickly. Shengjing, in the mansion. The movement in Suliang's room lasted almost all night, and finally stopped when the morning light faded. Immediately, Tao Yaoyao and Mu Qingqian both fell into a deep sleep. This was their first time, and they had lasted all night with their senior brother brother Suliang. Although the physical strength and physique of immortal cultivators were far superior to ordinary people, they would still be tired. After all, you are with your sweetheart, so of course you have to put all your heart and emotion into it. However, the two of them only slept for an hour before they all woke up. There was nothing I could do about it, Tao Yaoyao was just a little too excited. Even in her sleep, the things that happened last night made her laugh out loud. Mu Qingqian was also woken up by Tao Yaoyao. But Tao Yaoyao said that there was nothing she could do. Humph, I successfully pushed down brother Suliang. Tao Yaoyao was so excited that she couldn't sit still. She placed her hands on her hips proudly. Brother Suliang, he has already prostrated himself under my skirt, Tao Yaoyao. However, who wanted to escape before starting? Who screamed that he couldn't bear it in less than half an hour? Looking at Tao Yaoyao now, and comparing the reaction of Tao Yaoyao who was killed so quickly last night, Mu Qingqian curled her lips in disdain. Tao Yaoyao is vulnerable. Seeing Mu Qingqian's disdainful look, Tao Yaoyao raised her eyebrows. Mu Qingqian, what do you mean? Means nothing. Mu Qingqian shook her head and said disdainfully, who was begging for mercy on the bed last night? Humph, it's not me anyway. Tao Yaoyao immediately denied it, joking, how could she admit to such an embarrassing thing? Mu Qingqian obviously persisted for an hour, but why couldn't I persist for even half an hour? Don't ask. If you ask, you will lose your memory. If you ask again, you will die. No longer talking to Mu Qingqian, Tao Yaoyao put on her clothes, put her hands behind her back, and left triumphantly. But soon, Tao Yaoyao met Qin Benjao. Hey, eldest sister, good morning. Did eldest sister sleep well last night? Tao Yao Yao jumped up to Qin Benjao and wanted to show off, I didn't sleep well last night. Brother Suliang is so clingy. He dragged me around again and again. Well, Brother Suliang is still very powerful. Well. But before she finished speaking, Tao Yao Yao looked at Mu Kinkian's face that gradually darkened, and slowly began to stutter, realizing a certain fact. He had indeed pushed down Brother Suliang and proved his charm. But, what does this have to do with the eldest sister trying to beat herself up? It's not like after harmonizing the yin and yang with Brother Suliang, his own power will be greatly enhanced and he will become invincible in the world. Therefore, I should be unable to defeat the eldest sister, but I still cannot defeat her. Besides, the eldest sister is still the head of the palace. Are you crazy? You dare to show off to your eldest sister? Then. Tao Yao Yao was so happy that she became sad. Oh, I'm really curious about what you did with my husband last night. Qin Benjao had a harmless smile, but the words my husband were particularly aggravated. And these words directly made Tao Yao Yao shiver. Sister, please listen to my explanation. The corners of Tao Yao Yao's mouth twitched slightly, and she slowly backed up, ready to escape at any time. Well, I will listen to your explanation, but you have to go to my place. Qin Benjao tilted her head and smiled, taking action decisively, grabbing Tao Yao Yao and dragging her to her room. Sister, please spare my life. Tao Yao Yao quickly begged for mercy, with a grimace on her face. The Lun family is just joking, please don't take it seriously. Yeah, you're kidding. Go to my place and open a few more. I like it best if you hear the joke. Qin Benjao said with a smile, and soon threw Tao Yao Yao into her room and closed the door. Immediately. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 424. Tao Yao Yao's screams could be heard in the room, resounding through the sky. Mu Qingqian, who had already reached the door of Qin Benjao's room, was stunned when she heard this. Listening to this voice, Tao Yao Yao might not be able to get out of bed for another day, right? Tisk tisk, how pitiful this girl is. She has no choice but to provoke Benjao. Mu Qingqian shook her head in amusement and waited for the sound in the room to stop before gently knocking on the door. Squeak. The door opened, and Qin Benjao poked her head out in confusion. Qingqian. Mu Qingqian nodded, lowered his eyes slightly, suddenly bowed, and apologized softly. Benjao, I'm sorry, last night, Senior Brother Su and I. Actually, this is all my fault. If I hadn't taken the initiative to tease Senior Brother Su wouldn't be like this. So, if you want to blame, just blame me. Don't blame Senior Brother Su. What do I blame you for? Qin Benjao smiled and shook her head, as if she was a caring big sister. Not only did she not say anything to blame, but she touched Mu Kinkian's head and was very concerned about her health. How do you feel now? Do you feel any pain? Can you get off? Need a bed? Qin Benjao vaguely remembered that she and Sulang were not very able to move at that time. Moreover, not long after that, he dragged Sulang and stayed for 7 days and 7 nights. Now that I think about it, I find it quite exciting, but it's a pity that I will never have this time and opportunity again. When Mu Qingqian heard Qin Benjao's words, she jumped up and her pretty face turned red. Sister Benjao. Mu Qingqian held Qin Benjao's hand, feeling a little embarrassed. Can such words be said casually? Volume 1 # Chapter 404, which master-disciple combination is stronger? We are a family now, what can't we say? Qin Benjao said with a smile. Obviously, the title sister was very useful. She held Mu Kinkian's hand and said, if you feel uncomfortable, just go and take a rest. It'll be okay. There's nothing to be busy with at home anyway. Oh, no need. Sister Benjeo doesn't have to worry about me. Being cared about by Qin Benjeo, Mu Qingqian felt warm and happy in her heart, but she still blushed and said awkwardly, actually, with Tao Yao Yao helping to share the burden, it's not a big problem. Having said that, Tao Yao Yao's combat power is really too weak and she can't share much of the burden at all. Otherwise, Mu Qingqian felt that it would not be a problem for her to go out and fight now. But that's fortunate. At this moment, Mu Qingqian still felt a little greedy about being with Su Liang. Fortunately, Tao Yao Yao couldn't do it. Otherwise, wouldn't she have lost time with senior brother Su? At the same time, when the footsteps of the two women disappeared, Su Liang opened his eyes, sat up, looked at the mess in the room, and felt a little guilty in his heart. Accidentally, I made a big mistake and ate both the sisters together. What's going on? I feel like I have a headache. I'm really sorry for my girlfriend. With a sigh, Su Liang started to clean up with a grimace, thinking about how to explain to his girlfriend later. Now that what happened, Su Liang will no longer regret it. He will be responsible to the end for what he has done, whether it is to his girlfriend, Mu Qingqian, or Tao Yao Yao. Apart from a slight headache, Su Liang felt that there was nothing wrong with him. Well, there was nothing wrong with him. After thinking for a moment, just when Su Liang was about to find his girlfriend, there was a knock on his door. Su Liang, are you in there? Qin Benjeo said, opened the door and walked in. Benjeo? Why are you here? Su Liang blinked, I was planning to find you. Hey, does Su Liang miss me? Qin Benjeo smiled, extremely happy. However, the happier Qin Benjeo is, the more uneasy Su Liang feels. I have already done something sorry for my girlfriend, and now my girlfriend is in front of me. Qin Benjeo on the side looked at her husband's appearance, but she smiled slightly, with insight. She didn't know what her husband was thinking. Isn't it just that I feel sorry for myself? However, this was originally my own idea. After blinking, Qin Benjeo hugged Su Liang's arm and began to enlighten Su Liang. Oh, Su Liang, don't worry, I don't care about this. On the contrary, not only did I not care, but I was very happy to see this scene. Those two girls, Yao Yao and Qingqian, have always been deeply in love with you, and my husband is the best man in the world. Now that he is like this, whether it is for you, me, or Yao Yao Qingqian, they are all the same. Best possible outcome. So, what else do we have to be unhappy about? Listening to his girlfriend's words, Su Liang felt a little confused for a moment. My girlfriend is too kind to me, right? Not only did he not care if I stole two of them, but he also enlightened me? Woohoo, Benjeo, you are so kind, I will never do this again. After running around for a long time, Tan Kinja finally came back quietly, planning to give her husband a big surprise. But she didn't expect that her surprise would directly turn into a shock. After landing in the mansion, the first thing Tan Kinja did was to go to her husband's room, planning to give him a surprise. But I didn't expect it. As soon as she walked outside the door, she couldn't hear anyone speaking in the room, and it was a familiar voice. It seems, that traitor of my own? Raising her eyebrows, Tan Kinja became interested, approached the door, and began to listen. Then, she heard her disciple ask with a smile, Su Liang, who do you think is better than your master? Hearing this, Su Liang said immediately without any hesitation or entanglement, of course it's you. How can my sister compare with you? There is no comparison at all. As soon as these words came out, Tan Kinja immediately became angry. Okay, Liang, I am alone in Tan's house looking for clues for you. I am lonely, sleepy, reading books every day until my head spins, and I finally find some clues for you. But what about you? How dare you join forces with me, a traitor, and give me such a huge backstab. Do you think I have no temper? Then Tan Kinja kicked open the door decisively and shouted angrily, "Traitor, what are you doing?" However, when she rushed in and took a look, she found that Qin Benjao and Suliang were just having a massage. At this moment, Suliang was lying on the bed, and Qin Benjao stood on Suliang, stepping lightly with her jade feet, putting her entire weight on Suliang's waist. In this way, she helped Suliang relax his waist. Seeing the master come in, Qin Benjao walked down, sat aside, and greeted with a black heart, "Hey, the master is back, but since the master is back, why didn't he come in directly instead of eavesdropping outside?" This. Tan Kinja felt a little embarrassed. She never thought that she would be caught eavesdropping. Moreover, I really didn't expect that what I overheard was completely different from what I imagined. Seeing that Tan Kinja was speechless, Qin Benjao smiled and joked, "It's up to the master to see what I, a rebellious disciple, am doing. I didn't let master see what master wanted to see. Is master a little angry?" Listening to her apprentice's words, Tan Kinja felt a little panicked. She suddenly woke up and realized why she had become so jealous. "No, this is not me. In the past, I often came with my apprentice, but now, I can't even tolerate my apprentice and my husband. No, this is very inappropriate." As soon as she thought of this, Tan Kinja coughed lightly, looking arrogant and pretending to be cold. "Well, I'm just worried that you will hurt yourself if you do this. In that case, will master come with us?" Qin Benjao didn't care about Tan Kinja's attitude at all, but instead warmly invited her. "Master is very experienced and knows how to take care of others. Moreover, if master comes for a massage together, Sulang will also be very happy." "Really, is it really okay?" Tan Kinja blinked and felt. "It doesn't seem impossible." "No, it's quite possible." Then Tan Kinja stepped forward decisively and joined hands with her apprentice to massage. The two of them are either in front of one another, one on the left and one on the right, or one on the other, with different styles and strengths. But extremely tacit understanding. Hiss. Suliang gasped on the spot. This long-lost master-disciple combination was really quite strong. After a long time, Suliang was lying on the bed, his expression calm, and he seemed to feel vaguely compassionate. There was no other way. At this moment, Suliang was like a sage, with no desires, and his mood was as calm as water. A master-disciple combination. It's actually pretty good, just a little bit tiring. However, Suliang thought to himself that his Hunyuan Pure Yang Dao body could definitely withstand it, as long as he didn't act so recklessly often. On the other side, Qin Benjao was lying on Suliang's shoulder, hugging Suliang tightly, kissing Suliang's face with her red lips, with a hint of blush on her face, and a satisfied smile. After resting for a while, Suliang came back to his senses and looked at Tan Kinja. "Why did my sister come back suddenly, and she didn't even say hello before she came back, so I could welcome her? Humph, do you still remember my sister?" Tan Kinja rolled her eyes charmingly and lazily. "You still have the nerve to say that you said you wanted to come back to find Benjao, so I planned to help you find clues to the Fuxi abyss. As a result, you never came back. Even my aunt came back, leaving me alone at home reading ancient books. Do you know that the Tan family's classics take up a 9-story building, and the contents are so vast that I spent all my time alone to help you find clues. It's very tiring." "Ahem." Suliang coughed lightly and said with some embarrassment, "Sister is the best. I can't leave now. Otherwise, I would have gone back to find my sister long ago. What can you do that prevents you from leaving?" Tan Kinja glared at Suliang, but didn't say much. She just snorted and stopped worrying about the matter. "Forget it, This can show my reliability, sister. When others are pestering your husband, you help him find what he wants. Doesn't this prove that you are very powerful? Tan Kinja was very proud. Hearing this, Suliang's eyes lit up. Sister, do you mean to find clues to the Fuxi abyss? Of course. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 425. Tan Kinja said matter-of-factly, I searched all over the Tan family's ancient books and searched day and night, almost without rest, to find them. Yang, how are you going to reward me? Thank you for your hard work, sister. Suliang hurriedly put on a flattering smile and joked, what's wrong with trying to please his wife? You can give me any reward you want, as long as you like it. That's pretty much it? Tan Kinja nodded with satisfaction, and then reported, the origin of Fuxi Abyss is very extraordinary, so there are very few records about it, almost none. Therefore, I spent so much effort to find it. Come, let me report to you. But in the middle of her words, Suliang said awkwardly, Sister, you can report it as you please, but is your posture very elegant? Hearing this, Qin Binjao looked over subconsciously, only to see Tan Kinja's black silk jade feet stepping on Suliang's body, advancing all the way and going deep into it. The jade toes were round and agile, and they were extremely dexterous. It was visible to the naked eye that Suliang couldn't stand it anymore. I can't help it, she is my wife after all. With this kind of attitude, how can I make myself listen to the report properly? Humph, you stinky brother, shut up. Tan Kinja snorted lightly and gave Suliang no chance to refute. Just kidding, you have done so hard work, why can't you just charge more interest now? That's right, master is right. Qin Binjao decisively rebelled and stood on the master's side. She also sat up and lightly stepped on him with her white silk feet. Then, in an instant, Suliang was wrapped in two different styles of ice cream, one black and one white. They used different methods in ever-changing ways. It was really hard to resist. Okay, shut up and listen. While moving, Tan Kinja narrowed her eyes with satisfaction, recalling the clues she saw, and said softly, the so-called Fuxi Abyss, the dragon head of the flat silk Kyushu earth veins, has always been used as a barrier to block the erosion of foreign lands. It's absolutely impossible for anyone waiting to get in, or even get close. Then, is there any way to get into it? Suliang asked with a frown. Since he wanted to get something from the Fuxi Abyss, he must go in and search for it. But if you are not allowed in, how can you find it? There are records, but they are too vague. Tan Kinja frowned and thought carefully, and her movements became slower, giving Suliang a chance to breathe and regain his energy. After a moment, Tan Kinja suddenly started to sprint, smiling softly and said, according to records, if you want to open the Fuxi Abyss, you need someone who is recognized by the Earth's energy, or someone who is protected by the Great Luck. But this so-called recognition of the Earth's energy can be the protection of Great Luck is really too elusive, and there is nowhere to look for it. While the two were talking, Qin Binjao on the side saw that her master had turned on the acceleration mode, so she was not to be outdone and also turned on the acceleration. What the Earth's atmosphere is like, we don't know yet, but it seems that it is much easier to find people protected by the Earth's luck. Suliang gritted his teeth and endured, speaking intermittently, and finally entered a calm state again. In normal times, Suliang is actually powerful enough. After all, he is someone who can spend 7 days and 6 nights with his girlfriend. But after all, the acceleration mode of the black and white master and apprentice was too strong. Suliang was in a dilemma, unable to survive alone, and was finally temporarily defeated. However, Suliang found that in his current state, his mind was much clearer, which seemed to be helpful for thinking. After thinking carefully, Suliang asked, Sister, since it is the great destiny, then the destiny of a country, plus the luck of good and evil, can be regarded as the protection of the great destiny. You mean, Cao Ji? Tan Kenya raised his eyebrows, thought carefully, and nodded. Before, Kaoj was indeed favored by the good and evil fortunes, and took the initiative to enter the body. Although later, most of the fortunes were transferred by you, but she retained the luck is incredibly huge. Moreover, being favored by the two great fortunes of good and evil is indeed a feeling of being protected by great fortunes. At this point, both Suliang and Tan Kinja realized that because of their previous experiences, I am afraid that Yang Kaoj is undoubtedly the best candidate to start. The location of the Fuxi Abyss is known, and the method of entering it is also known, which means now everything is ready, just leave. For a moment, something that was weighing on Suliang's mind was suddenly let go, making him feel much more relaxed. Standing up immediately, Suliang came behind Tan Kinja, put his hands on Tan Kinja's shoulders to massage, and asked with a smile, "Sister, thank you for your hard work. Next, sister, please have a good rest. I will prepare a dinner for my sister." Volume 1 Chapter 405, The Sister Who Is Good at Driving, the Leader of the Right Path Competes. Sister, what do you want to eat? What to eat? Tan Kinja pouted, put her jade finger on her lips, thought for a moment, and suddenly smiled seductively, "Can I eat you?" Hearing this, the corner of Suliang's mouth twitched. Farewell, master and disciple have just come together as one, and they have done so twice, once in person, and once in accelerated mode. Even the most ironclad physiques can't stand it. You have to take a vacation anyway. Sister, driving is harmful to health, so please do it in moderation. Suliang said seriously, and then, without waiting for Tan Kinja to wake up, he jumped off the bed. "Sister, have a good rest. I'm going to cook for you. Run, run, if you don't run, you won't be able to walk." In the kitchen, Suliang was wearing an apron, with a sword in his hand and a kitchen knife that gave him the feeling of a peerless magic weapon. There is no way, Suliang's talent in swordsmanship is too powerful. Now he is no longer limited to the weapon in his hand when performing his moves. Picking flowers and picking leaves are all swords, and even without a sword, he is also a sword. Not to mention a mere kitchen knife, even a sledgehammer can produce sword energy. Following Suliang's movements, the things in front of him were quickly chopped into pieces, turned into shapes of the same size, and placed aside. But at this moment, a pair of jade hands suddenly reached out from behind Suliang and took off his apron. Suliang looked back subconsciously. "Sister? Why are you here?" "I'm here to help you and let you have a taste of my craftsmanship." Tan Kinja smiled slightly, put on the apron on herself, took the things from Suliang's hand, and stood in front of Suliang. "Well, then I'll have to look forward to it." Suliang also smiled and hugged Tan Kinja from behind. "Liang." Tan Kinja suddenly turned around and kissed Suliang gently on the lips. The eldest sister in an apron was charming and seductive. "Do you think I look better in an apron, or just in an apron?" After hearing this, Suliang imagined the scene and fell silent. "If you can't answer the call, you have to take a vacation anyway. Is it okay to do high-intensity labor 24/7? I can't stand it like this." "Huh, let me make my sister proud first. Later, I will make her not even wear an apron." Seeing this, Tan Kinja didn't care, she just leaned slightly against Suliang, the soft and upright body behind her pressed tightly against her. "Liang, you can teach me." Tan Kinja snuggled into Suliang's arms, looking delicate and charming. She turned around and bit Suliang's earlobe gently. "I really want to know how to cook delicious food. Everything my sister cooks is delicious, but I can't compare to her. How can I guide her?" Suliang hurriedly wanted to pull away, but when Tan Kinja came closer, he felt something was wrong. "But I want to leave now, it's too late." "Liang, tell me, would it taste better if you were added in?" Tan Kinja blinked her eyes, turned around, hugged Suliang, held his face, and kissed him gently. Immediately, his body lowered all the way down. His. Suliang gasped unconsciously and said seriously with a straight face, "Sister, please respect yourself." But helplessly, Tan Kinja couldn't be stopped at all. Then. This night, the Su family had dinner very late. There were not many delicious dishes in the so-called dinner, and many of them were even mush. There was no way. His sister was very clingy and wanted to stick together in every sense of the word. Suliang said that he had no energy to cook at all, so he had better feed his sister first. While Suliang was teaching Tan Kinja how to cook, Shenzi sat in Mu Qingqian's room and looked at Mu Qingqian curiously. She has a very good relationship with Mu Qingqian, and Shenzi cares very much about his best friend and pays attention to her all the time. So, naturally, Shenzi discovered that his best friend seemed a little different. Precisely. My bestie seems to be much more charming. Just like now. Mu Qingqian leaned her chin on the table and looked over. A soft and charming feeling that was completely different from what she had before came to her face. It was so bright and moving that people couldn't help but feel their heartbeat. Whether it was this kind of feeling or this kind of movement, Mu Qingqian would never have had it before. And immediately after, Mu Qingqian seemed to have come to her senses and blinked. "What on earth do you want to do when you come to me?" The girl's eyes were lively, and even her confused and cute look had a hint of unintentional charm that struck her heart. How do I feel that you have changed a lot today?" The Holy Son said his question hesitantly. "It just feels like, soft, yes, much softer." "What's going on with you?" "This." Mu Qingqian was stunned for a moment, and instantly remembered what happened between him and senior brother Su that night. After a moment, Mu Qingqian blushed a little, her eyes evaded, and she hesitated. "It's okay, what can happen to me? You think too much, and as for the change, well, everyone does it. Grow up, I have reached the age where I should grow up." "Is it really?" Shenzi was doubtful. She always felt that Mu Qingqian's explanation was too perfunctory, and, she felt that something was wrong. Is her best friend hiding something from her? At this time, Tao Yaoyao, who was listening carefully on the side, suddenly laughed out loud. She glanced at Mu Qingqian teasingly, and then, with the intention of teasing the Holy Son, she smiled and said, "Oh, you don't have this kind of experience, so you don't know that Qingqian looks like a young woman now." "What does the young woman look like? What does the young woman look like? Qingqian is not that age yet, right?" The Holy Son, however, didn't understand Tao Yaoyao's words and just looked confused. But looking at Tao Yaoyao's face with an inexplicable smile, she felt a little depressed. "I always feel that she is teasing me, but I just don't understand. This feeling is very subtle." The miserable Holy Son was brutally attacked by Tao Yaoyao's dimensionality reduction. This wave is the victory of the demonic witch. After coming out of Mu Qingqian's room in confusion, Shenzi was still thinking about Tao Yaoyao's words. What does a young woman look like? What does it mean? What can a young woman look like? It's a headache. But at this moment, the Holy Son was suddenly startled, and then he frowned slightly and froze in place. Just now, she received an unexpected message from the section the sect and the master gave her a new task. Based on the increasingly unstable Abyss Rift, for this reason, the Righteous Path will select the leader of the entire Righteous Path in advance to unify the Righteous Path. In short, in order to deal with the changes in the Abyss, the Righteous Path must choose a leader to command the entire Righteous Path to resist the crisis that may come. And those who are qualified to compete for the leadership of the Righteous Path all have extremely advanced cultivation, extremely high prestige, and great backgrounds. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 426. Volume 1 Chapter 406, Sublimation of Swordsmanship, Tacit Understanding Training for Lovers. For example, those Taoist masters of the previous sect and heads of aristocratic families. For beings whose cultivation is not above transcendence, even if they participate in the competition, there is no chance of winning. Among the list of people invited to compete for the leadership qualification, Wan Qing and Jing Meng were among them. These two people were invited by the Holy Sun. However, for this task, the Holy Sun rarely lost confidence. These two people seem a bit difficult to deal with. To be honest, these two seniors are indeed highly cultivated, but their personalities. Something is really wrong, right? After living in the mansion for so long, Shenzi naturally had a lot of contact with Wan Qing and Jing Meng, and she thought she already knew them well. All in all. Not to mention whether the two of them can obtain the position of leader of the righteous path, it is not an easy task just for them to participate in the competition. Forget it, don't think about it so much, let's go to dinner first, and then carefully observe the two seniors at the dinner table. The Holy Sun rubbed his brows and felt a headache. When it was time for the dinner, Shenzi ate bit by bit, but his eyes were always on Wan Qing and Jing Meng. It's normal to have nightmares. What's normal? The Holy Sun had been watching Jing Meng for more than 10 minutes. Jing Meng didn't say a word. He was sitting in the corner, not even paying attention to his apprentice, but just picking up the food in his mouth. Everything that is delicious, not delicious, edible and inedible is all put into the mouth. With every bite, a slight feeling of satisfaction appears on the calm face. Then, we ate more. Others would chat and talk, but Jing Meng would eat all the time. Occasionally, when called by others, he would look cute and confused. This senior. It's just a natural foodie thing. Can such a person really be persuaded by himself to participate in the competition for the leader of the righteous path? Or is it that he only needs a little food and can take her away? Moreover, if Senior Jing Meng goes and wins again, is it really okay for such a person to be the leader of the righteous path? Of course, although Shenzi is naturally confused by foodies who are obsessed with Jing Meng, but compared with Wan Qing, Shenzi found that Jing Meng is much better. Compared with Jing Meng, Wan Qing doesn't feel cute at all. Apart from being a bit domineering, she doesn't seem to have any flaws in her character. At least, he still looks like a Taoist master. But this senior looks like a disciple everywhere in his eyes. As long as she looked at Wan Qing for such a long time, Wan Qing herself didn't eat much and stuffed everything into her apprentice's bowl. She would even often curl up in her arms and act like a baby, asking for kisses and hugs. Throughout the dinner, Wan Qing's eyes never left Sul Yang. If she were to become the leader of the righteous path, she would probably give all the resources of the righteous path to her own disciples. I'm afraid the righteous path will no longer be called the righteous path in the future. Sudeo? Oh, so scary. After the dinner, the Holy Sun had not come back to his senses until he came back to love you so much. Wan Qing, who looks like a disciple, and Jing Meng, who is a foodie, can really complete the mission? Do you still need to complete the mission? Forget it, let's try inviting someone tomorrow. With a sigh, the Holy Sun fell into a deep sleep. The next day, after breakfast, Shenzi saw Wan Qing and Jing Meng talking together, and then he mustered up the courage to come to them. After a moment of silence, the Holy Sun took a deep breath and boldly began to invite, Senior Wan Qing, Senior Jing Meng, the Abyss Rift has been experiencing frequent changes recently and is restless, so the selection of the leader of the righteous path will begin in advance. This junior has been ordered by my master to invite two seniors to attend. After saying that, the Holy Sun lowered his head. She could already guess what these two seniors would say. Don't go. These are the words of Jing Meng. If you don't go, you might as well stay with my good disciple if you have this time. These are Wan Qing's words. She had even begun to think about how to continue the invitation. Unexpectedly. Immediately afterwards, she heard Wan Qing and Jing Meng say at the same time, "Okay, we will participate." The Holy Son was stunned and raised his head in surprise, almost thinking that he heard wrongly. What's going on? Are you ready to be rejected? Who knows, these two seniors are surprisingly easy to talk to, and they all agreed. Then, the Holy Son quickly informed the two of them of the time and place, and then saluted respectfully. "The time is approaching, so please make preparations early. I wish the two seniors can get what they want." After saying that, the Holy Son left quickly. Run, run, otherwise, what if these two people regret it? Walk slowly. Wan Qing said with a smile and waved her hands. In fact, she had no interest in being a righteous leader at all. The leader of the righteous path is not as important as his master. If he has this time, he might as well accompany his master. The reason why she agreed was just to pursue the ultimate battle. With her strength, although she is not the best in the world, she still has few opponents. If she encounters a troublesome lord of Yinghuo, why not give her a good fight? So, only in the battle for leadership, those Dao masters and family heads can be Wan Qing's opponents. Wan Qing wants to use this kind of extreme battle to unlock his power from 1,000 years ago. There wasn't any lofty reason, it was just to teach the Queen of the Abyss a lesson. Huh, what Queen of the Abyss? She blocked my face and bullied Master over and over again. Can this be tolerated? I, Wan Qing, must bully my master in front of her. In response, Suliang felt very sad. Jing Meng on the other side actually has no idea of pursuing the leader of the righteous path. The leader of the righteous path is not as important as the way of the sword. And she participated in the competition simply to compete against strong swordsmen. There are countless Shangzone families in the righteous way, and there are quite a few strong swordsmen among them. Maybe there are a few of them who are extremely talented in the art of swordsmanship. As soon as he thought about it, Jing Meng couldn't help but look forward to it. Of course, the path to pursuing the pinnacle of swordsmanship cannot be just this one. In order to sublimate the way of swordsmanship, the study of emotions cannot stop. Then, Jing Meng left straight away and found Suliang. "Jing Meng, why are you here?" Suliang almost called out the word senior, but before he could say anything, he suddenly remembered that he and Jing Meng were now boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just that this girlfriend has so little sense of existence that Suliang doesn't remember much about her. "I came to see you on a date." Jing Meng is very conscious, since it is about emotional connection. Then dating is essential. "Oh, okay, let's go on a date." Suliang was stunned for a moment before he realized what was happening. He smiled and took Jing Meng's hand and walked out. "How about we go to Dingqing Peak not far from Shengjing today?" Jing Meng said to Suliang seriously, "I have studied for a long time and collected many people's opinions. It seems that everyone thinks Dingqing Peak is a good place. It is said that hundreds of years ago, a couple fell in love on this peak. During this period, they experienced wars, displacement, and no news from each other for several years. In the end, they still returned here and lived a happy life. Therefore, many people feel that those who fall in love on this peak will stay together for a lifetime. No matter how far apart they are, they will always meet again on this peak, so many couples like to go there." Would Jing Meng even delve into such a thing as dating? Suliang almost gasped. He even had to study dating and falling in love. Jing Meng was too silly and scary, right? However, Suliang naturally had no reason to refute Jing Meng, so he nodded and smiled. "Okay, let's go together." Dingqing Peak was not far from Shengjing. With Suliang and Jing Meng's foot strength, half an hour was enough. Therefore, the two of them did not fly with their swords. Instead, they strolled along the way and enjoyed the scenery leisurely. They were very happy. But just as the two of them were about to arrive, they met an unexpected person. Master. Suliang looked at Wan Qing walking towards him, a little confused. Why are you here? Immediately, Suliang looked at Jingmeng holding his arm and felt a little headache. Although he and Jingmeng are now in this state, they also owe a share of their master's contribution, but considering his master's usual jealousy, I'm afraid my master won't be able to bear it. What should I do? Master and Jingmeng won't fight, right? At this moment, Suliang expressed that he was panicking. Just when Suliang was feeling anxious, Wan Qing had already seen Suliang and Jingmeng. Turning around to look over, Wan Qing showed a happy smile after hearing what her apprentice said. I went out for business and passed by chance. I didn't expect that I would meet my good apprentice. My dear disciple, I haven't seen Master for a while. Do you miss Master? I think so, I definitely want to. Suliang replied decisively, just kidding. He was already worried that Master would be unhappy when he and Jingmeng were together. Now if he said he didn't want Master, he might start a fight at that time. You still have to coax Master well. Fortunately, Suliang still has experience in this regard. So, Suliang immediately asked with a smile, Master, is there something urgent? Do you need my disciple's help? My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 427. No, it's been solved. Wan Qing waved her hands with a smile, looked at Suliang and Jingmeng carefully, and then asked, what are you two? Before he finished speaking, Suliang interrupted directly, since Master is fine, let's leave first. Although Wan Qing is smiling now, Suliang is very familiar with his master. Maybe his master will be angry if something goes wrong with him or Jingmeng. So, let's send my master away first. This is also for the sake of my own safety. I can't help it, Master is just too powerful. However, Wan Qing said with a smile, don't worry, speaking of which, why are you two here? Before Suliang could say anything, Jingmeng directly hugged Suliang's arm, letting Suliang's arm sink into his proud peak. Even. Jingmeng unintentionally got closer to Suliang, and then she blinked her cute big eyes. Suliang and I are here for a date. I heard that the nearby Dingqing Peak is a favorite place for couples to go, so I thought go with Suliang. After saying that, Jingmeng tilted her head and rested it on Suliang's arm. Sister Wan Qing, do you want to go with us? But she didn't realize that her behavior with Suliang at this moment looked like a show of affection. Moreover, this unconscious show of affection is so lethal. At this moment, Suliang's heart was lifted. Jingmeng actually showed off her affection in front of the master? Is this looking for death? Not to mention best friends, if master is angry, even my sister, my niece, will be beaten up, okay. It's completely unreasonable. Slowly clenching his fists, Suliang was ready to bear the impact. I'm afraid, after today, I won't be able to get out of bed for several days, right? Well, for various reasons. However, what Suliang never expected was that his master not only did not get angry, but also made an astonishing move. You call this a date? Wan Qing looked at her best friend with disdain. Do you think that just holding hands and putting a shoulder on each other's shoulders is called a date? Then, what should we do? Jingmeng was a little confused. I see other couples doing the same thing. Could it be that I did something wrong? Wrong, absolutely wrong. Wan Qing was extremely confident. Meng, you are too conservative. Real lovers are not just like this. You still lack a lot in terms of love. Is this like this? Jingmeng was a little confused. She had investigated and studied for a long time before she was sure what she wanted to do with Suliang. But now, her research results have been denied. Doesn't this prove that he is getting farther and farther away from the sublimation of swordsmanship he wants? Then, what should I do? Jing Meng asked in a panic. Don't worry, sister will teach you. Wan Qing patted her chest, feeling a wave of waves, as if she was leaving everything to her sister. Thank you, eldest sister. Jing Meng was instantly moved. The eldest sister was indeed the eldest sister, and she was so good to her. As for the whole process, Su Liang was stunned. Not only is my master not angry, but he also wants to teach others how to date his own man? What exactly is going on? Is my master crazy? But before Su Liang could say anything, Wan Qing's teaching began. Come, let me teach you. Wan Qing rolled up her sleeves and started teaching step by step. She came to Jing Meng, took a look, and then suddenly took action, pushing her best friend into her man's arms. Caught off guard, Jing Meng stumbled and hugged Su Liang subconsciously. Yes, just like that, don't move anymore. Wan Qing chuckled, a couple who love each other deeply should at least hug each other. What's the point of just holding hands? Yes, is that so? Jing Meng was doubtful. This was completely different from what she had investigated. But if this is the case, walking will be awkward. Tacit understanding, do you understand? Besides, you are immortal cultivators. You can't even fly with a sword. Wan Qing crossed her arms and took Jing Meng's hand skillfully, passing it behind her and wrapping it around Su Liang's waist. Yes, hold me tight, and then put the other hand on my good disciple's hand on the shoulder. Yeah, that's it, great. Volume 1 # Chapter 407 Qin Binjao, Revenge for the Lang Jun. After being manipulated by Wan Qing for a while, Jing Meng turned sideways to face Su Liang, with one arm around his waist and the other around his neck, clinging to Su Liang's body. Gao Feng squeezed tightly without any gaps. So, is that what it is? Jing Meng blinked, feeling that she had learned something. A door to a new world was slowly opening to her. That's right, that's right. Wan Qing said with a smile, looking like she was enjoying it. However, she stared at her master again. Come on, good disciple, you also move, you can't let Meng Meng move on her own, right? He. Su Liang showed an awkward yet polite smile. Are you kidding me? Master, is there something wrong with your brain today? It's okay to help your best friend get closer to your man very skillfully, but now you're actually enjoying it? Is this fun? To be honest, during the whole process, Su Liang felt that this was his own social death scene. I was manipulated by Master and Jing Meng at will, and I had to cooperate. It feels like I have become a toy for the two older sisters. Okay. Master, Jing Meng, you have studied so hard, have you ever cared about my feelings? In this regard, Wan Qing and Jing Meng said that it didn't matter, don't care about these small details. What is this? Su Liang sighed, feeling helpless. Just when Su Liang sighed helplessly, Wan Qing had already taken Su Liang's hand and placed it on Jing Meng's slender waist. Moreover, I also deliberately went down a little bit. In an instant, Su Liang grasped a soft, upright existence. It can only be said that it is no worse than the peak. Okay, you can do whatever you want, I won't say anything, okay. Anyway, I can't fight again and again, and you don't listen to me, so what else can I do? I can only lie down like this. Su Liang didn't want to talk to Wan Qing and Jing Meng. He just wanted to wait for the two of them to have enough fun and leave here quickly. However, there seemed to be no end in sight for Wan Qing and Jing Meng. One was willing to teach and the other was willing to learn. They both enjoyed playing with it for half an hour, but it's not over yet. Su Liang is about to collapse, okay. Master, Jing Meng, it's almost done, okay. Su Liang finally couldn't help it and protested, I really can't stand it. If you do this again, I will be angry. However, protest is useless. How could Wan Qing and Jing Meng listen to Suliang's protest? Shut up, don't make any noise. Wan Qing glared at Suliang and scolded him angrily. Immediately, he pulled his best friend and said, "Come on, Meng Meng, let's continue. This time, let's change to a new position. You will definitely like it." "Okay, big sister, I will study hard." Jing Meng nodded cutely, looking serious and eager to learn. "For the sake of my research on emotions and the improvement of my swordsmanship, I must listen to the words of my eldest sister. See this." Suliang completely collapsed. "Forget it, just go ahead and just treat me as an emotionless doll. I can't resist anyway." So, on this day, Suliang and Jing Meng were not able to reach the Love Peak, nor were they able to go home. He was dragged by Wan Qing and Jing Meng to a deserted deep mountain forest and played with for a whole day, a whole day. This day is a tragic day. Who can understand the pain of being tortured by two elders? To be fair, Suliang could still feel the soft fragrance of Jing Meng at first, but after that, he became numb. At night, when Suliang returned home, he felt physically and mentally exhausted, as if he had been fighting all day long, and his whole body was in bad shape. After reluctantly eating dinner, Suliang went straight to Tan Kinja's room, lay in Tan Kinja's arms, hugged Tan Kinja tightly, and buried his whole face into Tan Kinja's soft, flat belly. "Well, sister, don't move, let me take a rest." Suliang said in a low voice, "I was tortured by Master and Jing Meng today." "You were simply bullied, okay. Auntie too, she went so far." Tan Kinja pouted, and gently brushed Suliang's head with her jade hand. Her gentle look made Suliang extremely doting on her. "Okay, Ailiang, just have a good rest here. If my aunt comes to find you, I'll just help you block it." "Sister, you are afraid of Master, right?" Suliang forced a smile and made a joke. "Huh, that's just me giving face to my aunt, okay." Tan Kinja snorted softly and said with determination, "Liang, you are already so tired. Even if you are my aunt, I can't let her continue. The worst thing is, let's have a fight." This is not a very confident statement, but at least it has momentum. Hearing this, Suliang smiled and said, "Sure enough, my sister is the best." "That is," Tan Kinja said proudly. At this time, Qin Benjao on the side said angrily, "Humph, even Sister Wanqing and Sister Jingmeng won't allow it to torture Suliang like this. I remember this revenge and must avenge it. How to repay?" Suliang turned to look at his girlfriend and asked curiously. "Well?" Qin Benjao froze immediately. She hesitated for a long time before stammering, "Anyway, I will remember this grudge. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator." Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 428. What can we do? Write it down first. Otherwise, what else can we do? Tan Kinja laughed immediately. Did her apprentice change his mind so quickly? As for Qin Benjao's lack of integrity, even Suliang felt speechless. With a roll of his eyes, Suliang actually wanted to bully his silly and cute girlfriend. Then, Suliang stood up, came behind Qin Benjao, hugged Qin Benjao, grasped the peak with both hands, and said with a smile, "Why don't you, Benjao, avenge your revenge for me now?" "But, I can't repay you." Qin Benjao said with some embarrassment. If she had the ability to take revenge, she would have taken action long ago, right? And then, as Suliang spread his hands in two, moving up and down, Qin Benjao's eyes immediately became hazy, and she turned her head to kiss him. Suliang, however, avoided her and said sadly, "Oh, Benjao can't take revenge on me. I really don't want to do that." "Suliang!" Qin Benjao shouted dissatisfied, her voice charming. I can't help it, I'm not happy, so there's no need for tonight, right? Suliang said in his mouth, but the movements of his hands did not stop. Well. Qin Benjao snorted, I'll just go and avenge you. As soon as these words came out, Suliang immediately stopped and took a step back with a smile. Thank you Benjao, go quickly. At this moment, Qin Benjao's whole body stiffened. Suliang, how could you bully people like this? Snored. Qin Benjao felt like crying. Volume 1 Chapter 408, New BSIG goes on the road, and the demon girl is completely defeated. The next day, Suliang carefully avoided his master and Jingmeng and found Yingqiuge. Fuxi Abyss has been found, so naturally we must enter as soon as possible to avoid long nights and dreams. After informing Yingqiuge of his plan to take Yingqiuge to the Fuxi Abyss and search for items together, Yingqiuge fell into deep thought. Why, do you have any concerns? Suliang asked curiously. No worries. Yingqiuge shook his head, bit his lip lightly, and said with some embarrassment, but, Lang Jun, can't our client stay here temporarily? Sure. Suliang smiled and nodded. He would not force his wife to do anything, even if it was his own business. Since you still have things to do, then stay here for the time being. We still have a long time anyway. Thank you, sir. Yingqiuge smiled sweetly. The Tyrannosaurus posture I got when I was transported into my body is still not very stable. It will take me some time to stabilize this Tyrannosaurus posture. When we set out again, I will be stronger and we will be safer. Your safety is the most important thing. Suliang nodded and thought this proposal was a good one. Finding something was one thing, but his wife's safety was more important. And Yingqiuge hesitated for a moment and then said, the situation in Daxia has been a bit unpredictable recently. I still need some time to stabilize the situation. Okay, you can do your thing in peace. Suliang nodded. His girlfriend was the Empress of Great Xia. Even though she valued Suliang more than anything else, Suliang couldn't let his girlfriend abandon the dynasty and follow him. If you need help with anything, just tell me. Suliang said to Yingqiuge with a smile. It seems that there is really something. Yingqiuge suddenly laughed. Lang Jun, I need your help to stabilize the Tyrannosaurus posture. How to help? Suliang was a little confused. He didn't have this experience. Hey, you'll find out later tonight. Yingqiuge smiled, quite mysteriously. Time passed, and soon Suliang waited until night. Squeak. The door was suddenly opened, and before Suliang could turn around to look, a familiar fragrant breeze hit his face. Immediately, Suliang only felt that his whole body had been turned over. Qiuge? Suliang asked guessingly, but he already had the answer in his heart. Hey, how did Lang Jun know it was mine? Yingqiuge chuckled, but then, he suddenly stretched out his jade hand and covered Suliang's eyes. Guess, sir, who is serving you? Who else could it be? My Qiuge, right? Suliang chuckled and said, Suliang is still happy to play with this kind of little fun in the boudoir. Mr. Lang, are you sure? Yingqiuge asked with a smile. Of course it's confirmed. Suliang nodded and joked, how could he not recognize his girlfriend? But just when Suliang was guessing, a figure had already followed Yingqiuge and walked in quietly. Look at the face that is somewhat similar to Yingqiuge, the slender figure, and the snow-white military uniform, it is Yefei. Your Majesty, we really want to. Yefei's hands were tangled together in front of her body, her pretty face was flushed, and her steps were hesitant. She looked completely shy and embarrassed, and she didn't dare to move forward. In order not to let Suliang find out, Yefei just opened her mouth and did not make any sound even if she spoke. Why are you hesitating? Come quickly. Yingqiuge waved to his best friend and couldn't help but urge. Just kidding, I created such a good situation for you, and it was not easy for Lang Jun to be unsuspecting. Such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, do you still want to run away? It's impossible, okay. Yefei, you have to know that I am doing this for your own good. Looking at His Majesty's mouth, Yefei hesitated for a moment, then finally mustered up the courage to move forward. Sitting next to Sul Yang, Yefei took a deep breath, then put her jade hands on Sul Yang's body and massaged it gently. However, after all, Yefei has never done this kind of thing before, and the technique is too raw. No, it's not so much jerky as it is lackluster. This stiff feeling was so different from Yang Kao's skilled and comfortable feeling that Sul Yang instantly felt something was wrong. This is definitely not His Majesty. His Majesty's massage will never be so harsh, okay. Kaoj, you're not the one massaging me now. Sul Yang said softly and slowly turned his head. At a glance, he saw that Yang Kaoj was giving guidance, and the one doing the massage was Yefei. Yefei, why are you here? Sul Yang was a little confused. Oh, I just told you to listen to me. You see, your approach was so blunt that Lang Jun noticed the difference. Yang Kaoj glared at his best friend dissatisfied, then took his best friend's hand, placed it on Sul Yang, and began to teach his novice best friend Sig step by step. Come, I will teach you, watch, this action it's like this, do you understand? Seeing this, Sul Yang was completely stunned. This is something that can be taught and learned now? Isn't this right? Yang Kaoj, did you make something wrong? However, facing Yang Kaoj's teaching, Yefei didn't think there was anything wrong. Although her pretty face was still blushing with embarrassment, Yefei looked serious. Don't worry, although I haven't learned anything, I will work hard. What's the matter with you being so studious? Does this thing require such a studious attitude? Sul Yang was speechless. But Yefei didn't think it was anything. After expressing her attitude, she followed His Majesty's hand all the way down, holding the sun and moon in her hand to pick the stars. Then, together with Her Majesty, she slowly leaned down and spoke with golden words. His. Sul Yang almost gasped. To be reasonable, although Yefei was indeed extremely jerky, His Majesty, the female general, and his best friend together. Could it be that he is simply invincible? In the early morning, the morning light is faint. Sul Yang and Yang Kaoj woke up at the same time, looked at each other, and then looked at the bed at the same time. There, a bloody red plum bloomed brightly. What is this? Sul Yang rubbed his eyebrows and remembered the ridiculous night last night. To be honest, the best friend combination of the Empress and the General is indeed very powerful. Even Sul Yang risked his life and fought for a whole night, and he hasn't had much rest yet. In such a fierce battle, it was no big deal to win Kaoj, but it was really hard for Yefei after all. It was his first time. At this time, Yefei was still curled up in Sul Yang's arms, trembling from time to time. Apart from the sweet smile on her pretty face, she could not hide her exhaustion. She fell asleep in Sul Yang's arms and could not wake up no matter how she screamed. Lang Jun, you really went too far last night. Yang Kaoj lay on the other side of Sul Yang and whispered to her husband, this is my first time Yefei. How could you do this? You don't know any pity. Hearing this, Sul Yang rolled his eyes, you are more excited than me, right? To be honest, last night, Yang Kaoj did more, didn't he? While comforting his best friend, he adjusted the course, and then pushed Sul Yang, giving Sul Yang an acceleration state. If it weren't for Yang Kaoj's operation, Yefei wouldn't be so exhausted. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 429. Is that so? Yang Kaoj pretended to be confused and blinked his cute big eyes. Why don't I remember anything? You. Suliang shook his head helplessly and glanced at the sky outside. Your Majesty, it's time for you to go to court. In fact, when they stopped, it was time for Yang Kaoj to pack up and set off. It was very early to go to court. Not going. Yang Kaoj was upright and confident. The emperor should give himself a holiday. Why go to court every day? It's very tiring. Are you really okay with this? Suliang was helpless. His girlfriend just left to go to court? Why don't you inform me? Otherwise, I'll make the ministers wait for a long time while you rest at home. What's going on? You, the Empress of Great Xia, are too neglectful of your duties, aren't you? Suliang couldn't help but complain. Yes, people just don't do their jobs properly. Yang Kaoj nodded instead, with a charming smile on his face. I don't know, how does Lang Jun want to punish him? With that said, before Suliang could reply, Yang Kaoj stood up and slowly put on his dragon robe. The dragon robe covered her jade-like body, but it was fully exposed because she was not properly dressed. Standing beside the bed, Yang Kaoj looked at Suliang condescendingly, and stepped lightly on Suliang with his jade feet. Crossing her arms, Yang Kaoj smiled coquettishly and was unparalleled in beauty. She was clearly supposed to be the majestic dragon-robed empress, but she became more and more seductive and astringent. Mr. Lang, do you want to punish me, the Empress of Daxia, who is not doing her job properly? I can't wait any longer. Yang Kaoj smiled charmingly, stepping lightly or heavily on her jade feet, and brushed her pink lips with her jade fingers. At this moment, she was so charming and seductive that even Suliang was lost in thought. Well, it seems that you really deserve punishment. Suliang nodded seriously. Then I'll punish you with 300 lashes. Then, as expected, he was only flogged for 300 times, and it wasn't until Yang Kaoj begged for mercy coquettishly that he continued. Standing blankly in the yard, looking at the trees in the yard, Mukinkian's eyes were blank. It stands to reason that when one has reached her level of cultivation, multitasking is normal. Not to mention being distracted, even thinking about several things at the same time is easy. But at this moment, all of Mukinkian's thoughts were occupied by a figure. Senior Brother Su. Mu Qingqian read the name softly and couldn't help but think of everything that night. A blush appeared on her pretty face. As a girl, she had her first try, and it was with her beloved. This feeling of getting what she wanted almost made Mu Qingqian think about her own man. Everything else, such as master and cultivation, were all thrown aside. Moreover, after knowing the taste of the marrow, even a righteous goddess will often recall it and miss it all the time. So, why not pay a visit to Senior Brother Su? No, that's not right. Senior Brother Su is already his man now. If he goes to find his man, how can he call it a visit? Well, if you just go to your man and post it openly, surely no one will be able to control it, right? Except that hateful witch. At this thought, Mukinkian's cherry lips pursed slightly, feeling a little unhappy. If it weren't for that witch, I could have gone to Senior Brother Su openly, so why bother thinking about how to do it secretly? It's just hateful. But there was nothing she could do. After all, Tao Yao Yao at this time, like herself, was Senior Brother Su's woman. And that witch was earlier than me, and she was the one who made it happen with her own hands. This is even more uncomfortable. Forget it, don't think about it so much, it's better to go find Senior Brother Su. Mu Qingqian shook his head and looked around. When he saw that there was no one in the yard, a smile appeared on his lips. Immediately afterwards, Mu Qingqian stepped lightly, but not at all slow. Like a nimble cat, she quietly came to the door of her man's room, opened the door, and walked in. Then, he closed the door tightly, not wanting anyone to come in. Originally, I finally came to senior brother Su to practice dual cultivation, ahem, to exchange cultivation experience in depth. How could I let others disturb me? Quickly arriving in front of Sul Yang, facing the somewhat surprised Sul Yang, Mu Qingqian said seriously, "Senior brother Su, I want to continue dual cultivation with you." Continue dual cultivation. Sul Yang blinked, and the dual cultivation technique that he and Mu Qingqian often used before immediately appeared in his mind. To be honest, the dual cultivation technique is so upright that it can be said to be a communication on the spiritual level. I looked at the sun outside. Although it was still a little early, since Qingqian wanted to practice and it was orthodox practice, there was no problem at all. Then Sul Yang nodded, "Okay, shall we start now?" "Yeah, let's get started." Mu Qingqian nodded. Immediately. Sister Yu's cheeks were flushed, her brows were full of spring, and her eyes were twinkling. She gently pushed Sul Yang down on the bed, and then she leaned over him. "You, what are you doing?" Sul Yang felt a little panicked. The previous combination of the Empress and the female general's best friend had already made him tired enough. Now adding Mu Qingqian to the mix was fatal. "Of course, that's what I want to do." Mu Qingqian smiled charmingly, and then leaned down. This time, junior sister has to move on her own. At the same time. "Humph, let's go find brother Sul Yang." Tao Yaoyao jumped up and down, humming happily, and walked to Sul Yang's room, as if she was generous and offered herself to her beloved big brother to eat. And Mu Qingqian, who acted quietly, were completely two extremes. However, just when Tao Yaoyao came to the door of Sul Yang's room, she vaguely heard a muffled sound coming from the room. Moreover, this voice was very familiar to her. "Mu Qingqian? This violent woman dares to eat secretly without telling me?" At this moment, Tao Yaoyao, who was given a head start and came late, felt very angry. Boom! Kicking the door open, Tao Yaoyao walked in angrily, glaring at Mu Qingqian, who was a novice on the road again. Volume 1 Chapter 409 The defeated dog is completely defeated, the fairy is here to help you. Mu Qingqian, what do you mean, you dare to do such a thing with brother Sul Yang behind my back? "Oh, brother Sul Yang is mine, please get out of here." At this time, Mu Qingqian had also finished his first driving experience and was almost rested. She casually took a piece of clothing and put it on her body, and said calmly, "You witch, what nonsense are you talking about? Senior brother Su is not anyone's thing, nor does it belong to anyone. If we really want to discuss it, I have been with senior brother Su more times than you." Puff. These words almost made Tao Yaoyao vomit blood. "Stop talking nonsense." Tao Yaoyao was completely angry. It was about her elder brother and she must not give in. "Violent woman, let's duel. The one who wins can have brother Sul Yang." "Okay." Mu Qingqian walked up to Tao Yaoyao with her bare feet, her eyes calm. "You should also know that senior brother Su doesn't like us doing anything, so, why not, let's compete in talent." "Okay, how do we compete?" Without thinking much, Tao Yaoyao agreed directly. "It's very simple. Since we are robbing senior brother Su, let's compare who can charm senior brother Su better." "This is what you said, okay, it's settled." Tao Yaoyao immediately agreed. "Are you kidding me? I am a witch. You are a righteous goddess. You used to be aloof and arrogant. Are you sure you can be more charming than a witch like me?" Although I, Tao Yaoyao, have only charmed brother Sul Yang, and it was not successful, but I am a witch after all. Okay, how can I be better than you in this aspect?" Seeing Tao Yaoyao agree, Mu Qingqian's lips immediately turned into an imperceptible smile. Immediately. "Okay, I'll go first." Mu Qingqian said, immediately turned around and came to Sul Yang. "Senior brother Su." Mu Qingqian whispered softly, her voice at this moment was actually soft and touching. Not only that, the whole person was leaning on Suliang. Mu Qingqian's fragrant tongue was gently lingering between Suliang's neck, with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. The whole person turned from dignified and cold to charming. Senior brother Su, I like you so much. Please stop rejecting me. Mu Qingqian's soft voice with a bit of grievance sounded, and Suliang felt a soft and delicate body squeeze tightly, and the proud peak showed its arrogance without hesitation. Hiss. Suliang immediately took a breath of air. To be fair, Mu Qingqian, who had always been dignified and cold, suddenly turned into this charming look. The charm caused by this huge gap was simply unstoppable. Anyway, Suliang felt that he couldn't do it. If you can't resist it, what else can you do? Just accept it? At the same time, Tao Yaoyao was stunned as she watched Mu Qingqian's changes. Just when Tao Yaoyao would only use her appearance and physical advantages to seduce Suliang. However, Mu Qingqian has become adept at using charm, taking advantage of her usual aloof image to create contrast and charm. This method of enchantment is much more advanced than Tao Yaoyao's charm. It can be said to be a dimension-reducing blow to Tao Yaoyao. Unsurprisingly, this competition has just begun. Before Tao Yaoyao makes a move, she has already lost. The opponent is really too powerful. Suliang has already made his choice. What else can she do? There is no room for struggle at all. Okay. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 430. Mu Qingqian, you. Tao Yaoyao looked at Mu Qingqian blankly, speechless for a moment, unable to speak at all. She simply couldn't accept the fact that she lost to Mu Qingqian, who had always been aloof and arrogant, in terms of charm. This is simply outrageous. I feel like my authority as a witch has been seriously challenged and questioned. Okay. Even if she wanted to struggle again, Tao Yaoyao couldn't think of any way. How do I? Mu Qingqian and Suliang sat up together. She sat in front of Suliang, her slender legs wrapped around her, her jade arms wrapped around Suliang's neck, and she fell slowly. Well. After a groan, Mu Qingqian looked at Tao Yaoyao calmly and gave Tao Yaoyao a decisive blow. Tao Yaoyao, you can't even rob a man, how dare you be a witch? Puff. Tao Yaoyao almost vomited blood again. She really didn't expect that one day, her authority as a witch would be challenged by an aloof, cold, and arrogant righteous goddess. But she had no way to refute the absolute facts. Mu Qingqian. Tao Yaoyao gritted her teeth and stared at Mu Qingqian, but she had no momentum, like a defeated dog. Soon, her beautiful eyes were covered with tears, looking miserable. The demonic witch was so severely beaten that she couldn't even compare to the righteous goddess in charm. She was simply the most shameful of shames, wasn't she? Woohoo, don't live anymore. Mu Qingqian, you are a righteous goddess, how could you degenerate like this? Tao Yaoyao was heartbroken, obviously only witches can enchant. How can you, a majestic goddess, be so proficient in enchantment? Do you want to lose the face of the righteous people? As long as senior brother So can be happy, I'll be fine no matter what. Mu Qingqian just smiled lightly and didn't care at all about Tao Yaoyao's words. This time, Tao Yaoyao felt even more uncomfortable. The righteous goddesses are willing to make such seductive gestures for their men, but you, a dignified witch, can't compare to them. It is simply murderous and heartbreaking. Mu Qingqian, you have gone too far. I, the witch, don't want to lose face. It's obvious that my feelings for brother Suliang are no worse than yours, so why is it like this? Seeing Mu Qingqian's cheeks gradually turning crimson, his eyes dimmed, and his voice becoming intermittent, he gradually got better. Tao Yaoyao really couldn't bear to see this kind of tea house noodles. She immediately covered her face and burst into tears, feeling extremely sad. I've already failed enough, so don't let yourself see this violent woman posting with the one you love. My life is already dark. Tao Yaoyao was lying on the bed, her expression gloomy, her whole body covered with a gray-white feeling. Obviously she is a witch, but why can't she be as charming as a righteous goddess? Brother Suliang, Weevu, Brother Suliang is mine. At this moment, Tao Yaoyao was extremely frustrated. She suddenly turned around, hugged Qin Benjao beside her, and started to cry, "Sister, what should I do? She is obviously a witch, but now, she can't even compare to the most dignified goddess. Mu Ching Chien and so on, I hate you the most. Brother Suliang is obviously my son." Looking at Tao Yaoyao with a calm face, Qin Benjao didn't care at all about Tao Yaoyao's crying appearance. "Then, what do you want to do?" "Sister, you have to help me get Brother Suliang back. Brother Suliang obviously belongs to someone else." Tao Yaoyao was twitching and couldn't even finish her words. But then, she saw her eldest sister's face was filled with disappointment and disgust. "Tisk, as a witch, you are not as good at charm as Mu Ching Chien. You are such a weakling, do you deserve Sulang?" Puff. Tao Yaoyao squirted immediately and was hit hard for the second time, and her whole body was in bad shape. "Sister, I came to you to comfort and help me, not to attack me too. Sister, it turns out that love will disappear, right? Do you not love me anymore and instead admire a violent woman like Qing Qian?" "Oh no, no, eldest sister, Brother Suliang has been snatched away by Mu Ching Qian, and you are the only one left." But she is disgusted and disappointed. After all, she is her own little sister, so Qin Benjao still has to take care of her. Then, Qin Benjao immediately pulled Tao Yaoyao, "Let's go to my room, and I will take you to practice again." Practice again. Tao Yaoyao was a little confused and didn't react for a while. Is it some advanced technique? No, it's the method of charm. Qin Benjao drove Tao Yaoyao seriously. "As a witch, your charm method is too weak. Therefore, as the eldest sister, I must lead you to practice again." "What's the situation?" "Sister, you want to take me to practice the method of charm? Farewell, sister, you are not good at this either, right? After I learn from you, let alone defeating Mu Ching Qian, I will be useless myself, right? Sister, don't think that I don't know, you might as well be like me, okay?" Although she didn't say anything, Tao Yaoyao was still a little contemptuous of this. After spending so long with Qin Benjao, she finally understood her eldest sister. The eldest sister is indeed very strong and scheming, but in essence, she is just a silly and cute fairy. It's the kind of person who, without this strong cultivation, would have to worry about whether she would lose it whenever she went out. Just like that, you still want to teach me charm? Is it okay for the eldest sister to have such a sinister and cute fairy? Anyway, I don't believe it. However, her thoughts disappeared without a trace after she started practicing with Qin Benjao. How did she know that Qin Benjao had studied with Suliang? "Yaoyao, you have to remember that charm is never given for free." Qin Benjao looked at Tao Yaoyao seriously. "You may not have the same contrasting conditions as Mu Ching Qian, but your own advantages will become your absolute weapon of charm. So, what you have to do is to maximize your advantages, and then build on the basics and design some tricks." "What should we do?" Tao Yaoyao asked, a little confused. The words Qin Benjao said sounded a bit unclear to her ears, and they were completely unfamiliar territory to her. "What are you talking about? Why don't I understand even a witch? In this case, just wait while I change my clothes and show you how to do it." Qin Benjao smiled faintly, then turned and left. Tao Yaoyao waited for a moment in confusion, and then Qin Benjao came to Tao Yaoyao again. But this time, Qin Benjiao changed into a completely different outfit. But this time, Qin Benjiao changed into a completely different outfit. Volume 1 Picture 410 The defeated dog demon woman counterattacks. The plain white cheongsam wraps her soft and delicate body. The cheongsam is tight and slim, making Qin Benjiao's already mature figure more perfect, especially her proud peak, which is already quite majestic. The slender legs are wrapped in white silk, which perfectly matches the plain white cheongsam on her body, and further highlights Qin Benjiao's innocence, cuteness. However, different from normal clothes, what Qin Benjiao is wearing at this moment is damaged everywhere. The strands of rips on the cheongsam are extremely irregular, but they reveal the snow-white softness inside. Even at the proud peak, there are several damages, which are vaguely visible, but it is hazy and charming. The white silk wrapping her beautiful legs was torn a bit, and the tightness like jade was exposed. On the contrary, the purity of the white silk gave Qin Benjiao a sense of charm. At this moment, Qin Benjiao Battle Damage Limited Edition reappears in the world. Standing handsomely in front of Tao Yaoyao, Qin Benjiao subconsciously covered her with her jade arms, but she had a cute, ignorant, and innocent look on her face. Why are you looking at me like this? Qin Benjiao said softly, with this hazy feeling of confusion in her voice. However, Qin Benjiao's eyes were vaguely visible, but there was a hint of a sinister and narrow smile, as if all this was disguised. This added a touch of charm to her battle-damaged image. At this moment, Tao Yaoyao felt that her heart seemed to be moved. How could it be, that the eldest sister is so powerful? I am a witch, but I am still seduced by my elder sister? To be honest, she usually thinks that the eldest sister is dark and cute, but she never expected that when the eldest sister takes this dark and cute attitude to the extreme, she will be so charming. The eldest sister is worthy of being the eldest sister. I am convinced, completely convinced. At this moment, Tao Yaoyao was completely impressed by Qin Benjiao and completely resigned. Sister, I'm sorry, I doubted you before, but I was too naive. It turns out that I am the one who doesn't understand anything. Plop. Tao Yaoyao immediately threw herself to the ground without moral integrity, then hugged Qin Benjiao's thigh. Please teach me the secret technique, master. I also want to be a master of charm like master. Well, get up and I'll teach you. Qin Benjiao looked enigmatic and nodded. Come on, I'll choose the clothes that suit you best. Yes, master. Tao Yaoyao looked at Qin Benjiao with admiration, and followed Qin Benjiao to the wardrobe very consciously. Qin Benjiao kept fiddling with and changing her clothes. After a long time, she finally selected the clothes. So, from this moment on, Tao Yaoyao's hard training began. In the room, Qin Benjiao's scolding voice would be heard every once in a while. No, your action is too deliberate and unnatural. The whole feeling will be destroyed by your action. Try again. What you want to show to Sulang is that you are as innocent as the little sister next door. This is also the impression you have always given to Sulang. But look at you now. How do you look like the innocent little sister next door? Tear. Oh, don't feel bad. This is part of your personality. You have a lot of clothes, so don't feel bad. Yes, master. To these reprimands, Tao Yaoyao gritted her teeth and responded. Persevere, Tao Yaoyao, you must persevere. In order to snatch Brother Suliang back from Mu Qingqian's hands, you must learn the eldest sister's charm method. Tao Yaoyao gritted her teeth and followed her eldest sister to keep sharpening her skills. But Mu Qingqian knew nothing about this.